So no actual photography today. I'm just going to use the few minutes I've got to talk to you about my plans for my photography for the coming year, 2025. Last year was a write-off for all sorts of reasons. Started out with the best of intentions, but events in my life took over, and I didn't either have the time or the right frame of mind for photography, really. I did a little bit. I had some weddings that were already booked, and those were all done. But as far as personal projects went, it was nothing short of a dead loss. At the start of 2024, towards the end of 2023, I'd made up my mind that I would use both Instagram, somebody coming from my right, and potentially YouTube to start holding myself to account a little bit more. I'd seen a lot of stuff on YouTube and wanted to participate, wanted to contribute, felt that I might have something to say. Really not sure about that, haven't worked that out yet, but that was the idea. And I had a little dabble during the course of 2023 and just played with doing some shorts, did a long form video with a friend of mine, learned a little bit, learned how hard it was. That was the main thing that I learned, and that continues. The end of 2024, and an awful lot of thinking to be done, partially driven by the fact that I hadn't done much photography, personal photography during 24. Some of it due to the loss of my mother, which impacted on me in a way that I hadn't anticipated. That might sound like a really strange thing to say. It's not something that really warrants explaining here, but these kind of events really do make you think about your own life and what you're doing with it, and what you should be doing. So on the upside of all of that, taking a break from photography, personal photography in the way that I did, made me take stock of what I had been doing, and I kind of drifted into a number of projects over the years, and a lot of that content you can see on Instagram, and if I remember, I'll put the link to my Instagram account below, but if you did want to go and find it, it's the same as my handle or username here on YouTube. It's at Gary James Images. And I really starting to get a little bit incoherent with my photography, and really a bit more ambitious with what I wanted to do. One of the things I like to do is to photograph at the coast, but I live in a reasonably landlocked area of the UK, and so making trips to the coast come few and far between. Or certainly not enough to fuel my photography. So an area that had interested me, that I pass through quite often on the way to the coast when we make a day trip up to Norfolk, is an area called the Fens. Now, this might be an area that you're not familiar with. This is an area of the UK just on between East Anglia and the East Midlands. It's to the east of the A1 Great North Road. It's an area of land that's been largely reclaimed a few hundred years ago by draining the peat bogs and the wetlands in that area. Probably the most significant town or city in that area is Ely, the Isle of Ely. And then there are other towns like Kings Lynn and Wisbech, Stamford on the edge. But I live about 20 miles outside that region, and it's relatively straightforward for me to take trips in there. So I think there's an awful lot of potential for me there. There's something, I want to explore the area, I want to understand more about it, and I want to capture the charm and the beauty. And it's not an area that I see very well represented on social media photography sites. I'm aware of some books, and I have a book that I'm currently reading on it, and I'll share the information on that with you at some point. But for today I just really wanted to talk about the area. I'll put somewhere in this video a map up, a graphic up that shows you where it is. And as I was saying a little bit earlier, the idea of introducing it on YouTube is really part of holding myself to account for it. My photography in the past has always really been about what I want to do, when I want to do it, if I want to do it, how well I want to do it, for the content. Earlier in the week, on a bright sunny lunchtime, and the week deteriorated after that. I didn't get a chance to finish it. I didn't get a chance to finish it during that period because I was a bit short on time, and what I thought was a quiet footpath turned out to be populated with dog owners and dogs, and the dogs kept showing a great deal of interest in what I was doing, and then so did their owners. So, which was all very nice, but it just kept holding me up. I was determined to persevere with it that day as much as I could, because these are the early videos that I'm making, and I really don't fully understand how to do it and what I'm doing, but practice makes perfect, as they say. I've been having some problems with the sound in the earlier videos that I recorded, and really wasn't happy with them, so hopefully things are improving as I go along. So in the first part that I recorded, I was talking about my journey in photography over the last couple of years, and just generally speaking how I'd arrived at this point at the beginning of 2025, which is to really start making a huge effort with YouTube as a platform. I've always been drawn to YouTube as a resource and really take an awful lot from it and the people that I see there, and been curious rather than excited. No, I'm excited as well, I suppose, to try and make some sort of contribution. Anyway, I've covered that off in the first part that I've recorded. When I've played back the first part of the recording and started talking about the Fens, I've realised that I mentioned a couple of towns in the Fen area, left out places like Chatteris and March and Whittlesea, so I thought I would mention those now, because in the vain hope that somebody will see this video and that they're from the Fens, they'll say, well you didn't mention those places. So I've mentioned them, and there are plenty of other places besides. So I was talking about how I'm starting to frame this project, why I'm starting to frame it, and so I promised that I would show you a map of the area of the Fens where it exists in the UK. So I've done that now in the intervening period, and hopefully you've seen that by now in the video. The Fens isn't going to be the only project I'm going to feature on my channel. I'm going to be talking about all of the other photography that I do. It's going to be partially vlog. I kind of hope to share some of my philosophy and thoughts about how I go about my photography. But as far as the Fens go, this is a completely new project for me. So I wanted to share my idea, or how I've developed the idea and how I'm going to follow it through. And as I've mentioned in the other bit that I recorded, YouTube hopefully will be a bit of a way for me to hold myself to account and give myself that little bit of extra motivation to produce it in the way that I really want it to go. So a lot of work ahead. The Fens, as you've seen from the map, is quite a large area. It covers about 1,500 square miles of this particular part of the country. So you know, I'm going to have to cherry pick some of the spots that I go to, but I'm not planning to get this all done in the space of a week or two, or even a month or two. I imagine this project will be ongoing over the next year or two, and but we'll have to see. At the moment, it's more than an idea, but it's going to take shape. And given that I really don't know as much about the area as I ought to, really, given I live this close to it. I think as I go along, the idea is going to develop. So that is quite enough for me today. This has all been talking, not much photography at all. You might be wondering where I am now. I'm at a nice quiet spot other than the weir that's rushing by behind me. I'm at a spot called Roxton Lock, not too far from where I live. Chose to come here this morning just so that I could find a little bit of outdoor space to continue recording, and maybe this is a spot I'll come back to and what I will do now, again in the spirit of practicing my video making skills, is just record a little bit of extra footage and put some of that over my voice for the final production on the video. So hopefully the next time I post a video will be me doing some photography, almost certainly connected to my Fen project, but as I say, that there'll be other work featured along the way. So I hope you'll return if you've seen this video and have a look at what I'm doing. If you've got any words of advice or any words of encouragement, gratefully received. Whatever you've got to say, thanks very much.